I think we are good to start. So welcome all again. And let's start from here. At this stage of your spiritual maturity, one of you please take the lead and read up to here. First paragraph.
Okay.
Yes, may I?
Yeah, please.
Sure, Swati.
At this stage of your spiritual maturity, Spirit seems to ask you a question. What would you have me be? And that is why you must identify the presence as that which you desire in the outer world. Let's say it's money. Money is a symbol of the divine idea of supply. Now, let's connect the first two parts of the statement. My consciousness of God as my supply. Your consciousness of God as your supply fills your consciousness with God as your supply. Therefore, your consciousness becomes your supply. We can now complete the statement my consciousness of God as my supply is my supply. Can you understand what happens when you embody the truth and meaning of that statement? Your consciousness becomes cause to the outer world and based on cosmic law, as within, so without. Become conscious of the presence within as the fulfillment of any desire you have, and your consciousness will outpicture itself as that fulfillment easily, quickly, and in peace.
Sounds amazing.
Yes. Little cryptic, but yes, very profound. This particular statement, anyone wants to explain?
No idea. Well, it's quite amazing actually. If you this is a new way to relate to money because generally we are not introduced to money in this manner, isn't it? Because money is not considered a symbol of divine idea of supply. Normally, in the thing, the material world, money, at least earlier in India, it was considered a bad word. Nowadays, it's not, but it's still entirely materialistic. So
Not
it might,
earlier. Earlier it was all good only. In between, actually, people assume that money is little like not good. Exchange of money is also like kind of not very much appreciated because people were earlier people were accustomed with direct exchange. No? What is that?
barter.
Yeah,
Barter
barter
system,
system.
yes.
Mm,
So after that, when money came into picture, some kind of conception changed. But originally, this is another form of exchange. Only nothing. Like
yeah,
if we are having any negative feeling about it while exchanging it, basically, whenever we are giving, we are not giving. Actually, we are exchanging it.
yeah,
We are exchanging it for some good or some services. And if we are exchanging it, not exchanging it with the right attitude, right feeling, then it is having, then it is definitely going to have very negative
negative
consequence.
connotation. Yeah,
Hmm.
but here it says my consciousness of God as my supply. That means the more conscious you are of that divine source, um, your consciousness then becomes your supply, which means that suppose we are more keenly aware of the an energy behind what is obvious materially, then the more adept we become at easily materializing that intention or whatever desires we have into the material plane. That sounds almost magical. But one has to be in that kind of a consciousness where you're slightly detached and you're not, and you are kind of, in alignment with love and truth. That is what I'm getting.
Right. So before few days, if you remember, I wrote one more line in our inner circle, abundance family, that money, the very purpose of money is just to express gratitude. Do you
Mm.
remember?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was amazing. I mean, just imagine whatever we're getting, if we're actually, saying thank you,
Hmm.
whatever we're getting, and we give money in that mode, it's really a huge paradigm shift compared to how we normally think of money as.
Yes. So let's keep in our mind very deeply intact that money is meant for expressing gratitude. So money, whatever money is there with us, or whatever money is coming to us, that God is giving us to express gratitude. How? Whenever we are exchanging or whenever we are taking any service or product for someone, we are supposed to give money, and with money, majorly we are giving gratitude. We are saying thank you for the
Mm.
service or for the product that they are giving wholeheartedly. And with the understanding that this is here to be grateful, because ultimately we need to be in more higher vibration, and gratitude is the highest kind of vibration, like love, even
Mm.
more deep.
Yeah,
And the more and more we are grateful, automatically the product or the service that we are going to get will be more
better.
having more value.
Yeah,
More
I
value.
know. I've noticed that even during the house construction of late, I don't feel like bargaining so hard. Instead, I
Hmm.
request them to give their best.
Yes.
And in the process, if they say, no, I can't do it for this price, I can only do it for this price, I'll say,
Hmm.
okay, but at least do this much. And
Hmm.
as an undertone, because many people may not immediately vibrate at that level if I express gratitude directly. So, as an undertone, my heart is grateful. And though I'm just
Yes.
giving it in a normal way, but I'm giving it with invisible gratitude.
Yes. And that will definitely change their art slowly and
Yeah,
gradually. And definitely you will get more for what you are paying for this
better
work.
value. Correct.
Yeah, better value definitely you'll get.
Yeah.
Now, this is the extension of it, where it says money is a symbol of the divine idea of supply. Divine idea of supply. And let's connect the first two parts of the statement. My consciousness of God as my supply. This one we have already read quite
Mm.
many a number of times, that my consciousness of God as my supply. So God is my supply and I am conscious about it. Your consciousness of God as your supply fills your consciousness with God as your supply. So that is
Mm.
true for the other person also. Therefore, your consciousness becomes your supply.
Mm.
Therefore, your consciousness becomes your supply, and consciousness and God are kind of maybe synonym, acting as a synonym here. This is another way of interpreting. Any other way?
Practically, also, we can say that like attracts like. The more uh, good you feel, you vibrate that goodness.
Hmm. Yes. The more
Mm.
good we feel, we are attracting all good situations and circumstances and good people to my life. That is also very true. But how does that fit here? Your consciousness of God as your supply, fills your consciousness with God as your supply. Therefore, your consciousness becomes your supply. I got it.
Yes, actually, yeah, actually, I wanted to say like we feel godliness in our in inside ourselves. So,
Hmm.
practically, if we relate this to physical world, the, the same thing happens. What you
Yes,
feel inside, you get, you attract outside also.
true. And I
We
just got
yes,
another
the same
idea.
we can relate here to God also. Yes.
Yes. So I
But
got a wild idea.
Ah,
The thinking that let's ask the co-pilot or chat GPT how they interpret this. Let me.
before you do that, because see, what I'm thinking is, see what Sumanji was saying was how good you feel inside. I was really
Mm,
questioning myself because sometimes when you feel good, no,
mm,
it's a mode of goodness. There is
mm.
kindness, there's joy, you're polite, you're sweet natured, but
Yes.
there is also a risk that a subtle ego can come there.
Mm,
And I remember, in the three modes of nature that all matter is affected by, that is sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Rajasic
mm,
is a neutral energy, it's an energy mode which can be used
mm.
for tamasic purposes or sattvic purposes.
Correct.
So, I remember them also say, in the meditation circles that as you keep becoming more and more God conscious, God centric, you rise beyond even the mode of goodness. And sometimes uh, you can do things which might appear to be tamasic or rajasic, but they're actually coming from a higher. Like for example, how Krishna asked Arjuna to kill his own loved ones, his relatives. So it might appear very cruel and wicked, but the higher purpose is that the invisible purpose, which not everybody would see, is that it is God's doing. So he was being used as a pure channel of the divine. At that time, he had to keep all his emotions aside and just do his duty as per divine calling. So sometimes that may not appear to be in the mode of goodness also. But that is one thought that came to my mind. Of course, I understand what Sumanji is saying, that when we are more happy and we are, in a more equipoised state of mind, the key here is, I think, equipoise and uh, inner awareness of that consciousness.
Yes.
Yes, yes, very true. Same I wanted to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yes. And obviously, this paragraph ends with as within, so without. So, particularly for these two lines, I asked to chat GPT, Copilot. Basically, in this system, I don't have access to chat GPT. So,
Uh,
what it says is this statement reflects a metaphysical or spiritual perspective on abundance and
oh.
manifestation. Okay. And there are three pointers here it has given. First one in bold, my consciousness of God as my supply. So, what it explains for this particular line, this means holding a deep awareness or belief that divine energy or God is the ultimate source of all supply, be it material, emotional, or spiritual. This one actually, whatever we understood, and this is what actually is throughout the book written. So
Mm.
we are aligned. Good that it actually without and like without get knowing the context of this total book, it is actually deciphering
It's
the
very
right way.
clever.
Yeah.
Yes.
The second uh, statement says in bold, fills your consciousness with God as your supply. So to explain this one, it says that by focusing your awareness on this belief, which belief? Then my consciousness of God as my supply. This belief. By focusing your awareness on this belief, you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the idea that abundance is already present, flowing from a divine source. Almost similar, but here actually the one addition that he has made is when we are aware and when we are focusing on our awareness of this eternal truth, then abundance is already present and flowing to us. This also we have already discussed, and yesterday in length and breadth we have discussed this. Then the third line says in bold, your consciousness becomes your supply. This is in bold. So how it explained is essentially your inner state of belief and understanding becomes the casual of the cause of external manifestation in your life. It suggests that by embodying this truth internally, you attract or create the supply you need in the outer world. So when what we are inside, the same thing automatically will manifest in our outer world. So inner purity and inner alignment is much, much much more important, and we need to focus on that. And that is our consciousness. That is the awareness of our consciousness, which determines how we are going to, how our compass will be aligned to which direction our compass will lead us, to which direction our what do you say? There is a story actually we tell to ourselves all the time. That story also has a direction, and that direction will be always determined by the inner compass that we already set, and that is our consciousness. So in the last paragraph it says, in simple terms, this is about shifting your mindset to see abundance as a natural, divinely gift, divinely given part of your life. Divinely given part of your life. So abundance is natural, and this mindset actually we need to persist that divinely abundance is part of our life, part and parcel of our life. By embodying this belief fully, your internal alignment influences your external reality. When we embody this belief fully, then what happens? Our internal alignment influences the external reality, following the principle of as within, so without. Amazing. Almost similar thing is what actually we have discussed in past chapters also, was little cryptical manner actually it has been given this particular paragraph. And it is continuing here in this line. Says, become conscious of the presence within as the fulfillment of any desire you have, and your consciousness will out picture itself as the fulfillment easily, quickly, and in peace. So if we want to change the outer manifestation, if we want to repicture or outpicture the outer fulfillment, outer manifestation, then what we need to do is we need to be conscious of the presence within, the abundant presence of the true source, or um, the actual source, who is the God. When we are conscious of that power or that force, presence of that particular source within us, as the fulfillment of any desire you have, as the fulfillment of any desire, we may have many desires actually, but ultimately it is boiling down to that one. In Bhakti Yoga, actually, it has been properly brought into action, wherein we do everything. Our own desire is also not our own desire, but it is desire to satisfy our God. So if I am eating also, I'm not eating for myself. I'm eating the divine prasad. Or I cook. If I'm cooking also, I'm not cooking for myself. I'm cooking for my God, and in love I'm eating. So, so everything, whatever desire we have, of any desire you have, and your consciousness will outpicture itself as the fulfillment easily, quickly, and in peace. That is so true, and so it is so natural if we maintain that state of awareness. I hope it makes sense. It is little today. It's little um, metaphorical, but because we are reading from a little longer time in this book, we are now accustomed with the language that author is using.
I
Yes,
think it
yes.
basically, yeah, it just reiterates what we've been going through so far.
Yes, yes.
That the
And there
inner
is
and
a
outer world are connected.
yes, and there is a very important and very um, vital reason for it, for repeating the same thing in different ways, different examples with different forms. And why is that? Because the information
Very
what
important.
we are reading is just information, unless until it becomes a part and parcel of our life or realization. And the author knows that general people read only once, and we might not revisit the book or might not read it again and again. So he himself is doing the work for us, and he is presenting the same thing in little different manner with little different examples and connotations, so that it goes to our deepest of our consciousness.
Consciousness. Yeah.
Yes. The more and more practice that we do, in whatever means, in whatever method, even if the method is good or bad, it doesn't matter. But whatever we practice, we become perfect in that one. If we practice stealing, then we become a good thief also. So practice
Mm.
doesn't differentiate that, okay, if it is good, then we will. So practice makes a man perfect is half of the sentence
Yeah.
actually.
Mm.
It can actually, it will make us perfect, but perfect in what? That also we need to.
So,
So good that actually we are getting perfect by repeating the abundance laws, and it is not only we are reading, we are also reflecting and reiterating here itself among ourselves. So very likely we are in the right path and we are changing our thought process. Only one request I have is, after each day we are reading, just pick one key principle or key action that author wants to give us, and that particular day feel that more often, do that in practice more often, and you see the actual difference in our life. So
yeah.
that is what
So
actually
the
we
key,
do.
key takeaway today basically is that the inner and outer world are connected,
Yes.
and the more clearly we see we are connected to the consciousness in the inner world,
Mm.
the more obvious the connection with whatever manifests in the outer world. Our intentions start coming true,
Yes.
materializing faster.
Yes. Very true. And it need not be the same main takeaway for everyone. Everyone may have their own main takeaway, and feel free to share your main takeaway.
Yeah,
Like this particular line is also very important. Money is a symbol of divine idea of supply. When one says this, then if there is any ill intention or not very good intention towards money, that also changes. It's the divine idea of supply. It is not my
yeah.
idea or your idea of supply. It is a divine idea of supply.
Mm,
Money is a symbol. So how can money be evil or bad? Or whoever is possessing money, how that person can be evil? That conception or that mindset itself is very wrong, and that is that could be a major reason as to why we repel money from our life.
Sorry,
So
come again, please. Why we
um,
spend money from our lives? The main reason is,
I said the main reason is when we consider money as evil, right,
okay.
then we do not attract, that we repel actually, and
Yeah, yeah.
that could be the main reason of all lack or
Yeah.
limitations that we have in our mind.
Mm,
And sometimes, even though in reality we might not have any lack or limitations in mind, actually it will bother us.
Yeah,
mm,
so basically what we are trying to say here is, since we are going against that law of nature, we are not getting the actual results then.
Yes, law of abundance.
Yeah, correct. Law of abundance. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Thank you for sharing. And I also said, so Sumanji, if you want to share one quick takeaway from
Yes, money is
reading.
actually the divine symbol to show gratefulness, which
Hmm.
lacks in modern world.
Yes.
We all have become utilitarian, and we
Mm.
just think that we are giving money and with added ego.
Yes. With the sense of scarcity also many times, without awareness, if you are giving, then with
Yes,
the
yes.
sense of scarcity we might be having the mindset that, okay, this person is taking more than what he is giving in terms of service or product. So automatically we might not be able to grateful in that particular time. So the more and more we remove this idea or replace this idea with the idea that the other person is also a divine angel, and I am money is a divine gift or divine idea for expressing the gratitude. I am buying or I am exchanging this particular instrument to get some good goods or services, and definitely that will be more of more value than what I am giving actually. That is one thing. And second thing is, another law of money is, which is not written, or maybe it will come in later part of this book, I'm not sure, but money loves flow. If you see even the water, if it is stagnated, then you see fungus and what is the other things, like it becomes very much polluted, right? um, if it is not flowing. But if you consider the river which is always flowing, there won't be any fungus, or there won't be any kind of um, unnecessary uh,
Pollution.
pollution or garbages that stays. Everything flows, and
Yeah.
it is a clean water. So even money also is like that. Money loves flow, and if we try to hold it, keep it in us for longer, kind of, it will try to, uh, it will multiply itself actually. If we keep it in flowing state, then it multiplies itself easily and effortlessly. So how to keep it flowing is with the right mindset. Whenever anywhere we are giving money for buying anything, for buying our food, clothes, shelter, and all those things, and whatsoever we are buying, so that time we should have the right mindset that money is the idea or the symbol for expressing gratitude, and this is my opportunity. It is giving me opportunity to be more grateful. So this idea itself will take us to more gratefulness. And the second law says that money is for money is meant for flowing, and the more it flows, the more it grows. So we will not feel lack or limitation, because we understand that its main purpose is to flow in order to grow. So let it flow, and I'm sure that it will grow. And that's where actually the practice, right, Rameshji, we are doing in Magical 3x slot machine. That also aligns, right?
Yeah.
It is growing in 3x multi multifold.
Yeah.
That's how actually it comes. So these are the two main laws, directly or indirectly coming from these utilities. Kind of might not be written directly, especially the second law, but I remember and I am able to connect it because it is very appropriate content to share with you. So if you believe that it makes sense, then do not kind of forget this particular principle throughout your life, and you will see immense difference actually in the way
Yes.
we lead and in the way we spend.
I also feel different when we are
Manifest.
interacting with other people. When you're buying for any and even fruits, vegetables, or anything goods or services,
Yes.
um, if there is always the feeling of, oh my God, I have to bargain it down to the lowest only, then I've done a good job.
Mm.
There is a feeling of lack that you're spreading, and
Yes.
as you give that lack, you also get that lack back. But
Yes.
suppose you quietly, in your heart, use the 3x magical slot machine
Mm.
blessing, then you're giving something else, and that will come
Yes.
back. Yeah.
Yes. And the value definitely will be multiplied.
Yeah.
The value itself we will be getting in 3x multifold, at least minimum for 3x multiplied, and in from unknown source also the future effect will definitely be conducive for our existence and for getting more of money flow in terms of blessing, in terms of real manifestation, in whatsoever form actually it will come. Just having the right faith and with right emotion, we need to practice this. Great. Thank you all. We are done for the. We are out of kind of we exceeded this a lot. Sorry for the little delay today. We will try to complete tomorrow little early. Thank you all.
Thank you, Prakash.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prakash ji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
God bless.
God bless all.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Balaji.